Good evening, everybody. Welcome. My name is Jean Louise Shara. I'm the mayor of Northampton, and I am serving tonight in my capacity as the city's cable license issuing authority under Mass General Laws, Chapter 166A. I want to welcome you all to the City of Northampton's public hearing on the city's Comcast cable license renewal. This hearing is to hear from you, the public and the interested parties, to ascertain the community's cable-related needs. The hearing is being conducted both in person here at the Senior Center and over Zoom, the virtual meeting platform. Notice of this hearing was published in the local newspaper in 2 successive weeks, and the notice is also on the city's website. We have copies of the legal notice if anyone would like to see it. And though the legal advertisements will be entered into the record as Ascertainment Hearings Exhibit 1 and 2, and the hearing is being recorded, and a tape or DVD of the hearing shall be Ascertainment Exhibit 3. By way of background for the public, Comcast cable license expires on April 3rd, 2026. Federal and state law requires the holding of public ascertainment proceedings, including this hearing, to identify important local cable needs. Ultimately, these proceedings will result in either a renewal of the Comcast license or a denial of such renewal. We will receive comments and testimony about cable-related needs and interests, which are important to the public and interested persons, and about how Comcast has performed under the existing license. We welcome comments about all cable-related matters of interest to the public, including, but not limited to, customer service, license administration, institutional network needs, and the city's needs regarding the local studio and local programming that is very important to our community, and maintaining financial support for the city's local programming capabilities. Please, if you can, keep your comments to no longer than 3 minutes, and please state your name for the record. Any persons on Zoom who seek to comment can identify themselves by using the raise hand feature, which is under reactions. You may also email your comments to mayor@northamptonma.gov. We've already received many, many emails, and those will all be part of the record, and we will share those with Comcast. The process of ascertainment of community cable needs and interests will remain open until further notice, and so please keep the communications coming into us, and all of those will be, as I said, be part of the record and given to Comcast. So I want to thank Attorney Bill August for, he's here on Zoom. I also want to acknowledge some of the elected officials that are here. And excuse me if some of you have come on Zoom and I have not caught you while I was speaking, but we have the city councilors that are here in the room or on Zoom are Councilor Alex Jarrett, Rachel Maori, Stan Bolton, and Garrick Perry. School committee members Michael Stein and Aileen Davis. So thank you to any elected officials that are here. And again, sorry if I missed anybody. Before hearing from the public, I'd like to welcome Comcast representative Eileen Leahy, who is here to make some introductory comments if she would like. You're welcome to come here if you'd like.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. My name is Eileen Leahy, and I'm a Senior Manager of Government and Regulatory Affairs for Comcast. My office is in Springfield, and I live in Holyoke, and that's where I grew up. I've served as your local representative for Comcast for over a decade now, and I've had the pleasure of working with the city on various issues. We've had a very good partnership with the city, and we look forward to fruitful negotiations and continued partnership with the city. Thank you so much.
And I'd also like a welcome comment from Al Williams, who's the Executive Director of Northampton Open Media. Welcome, Al.
Hello. Hi, I'm Al Williams. I'm the Executive Director of Northampton Open Media. And, just for information purposes, we as Northampton Open Media don't have a part in the negotiations. We don't sit down at the table. We are the results of the negotiations. We are the stewards and shepherds of what is created out of this negotiation, perhaps. And so, and also, it's important to point out that we're not part of the city and we're not part of the cable provider either. And that's intentional. 17 years ago, the cable provider was running the Community Media Center, and a group of citizens decided they didn't want that to be the case anymore. And that's how our iteration of Northampton Community Television and now Northampton Open Media started. Also, we're not part of the city, and the reason for that is that when people want to make content that is critical of the city, it's best that we are not part of the city. So that's why that is intentional as well. And so that's who we are. I just want to thank the city for for hosting this process and for respecting it, and for Comcast. Thank you to Comcast, because there's not a lot of industries that give a percentage of their income to community good. Even though it's required by law, they still do it. So I think they should be recognized for their part in that. And thank you for this entire community for showing up and for participating with us and participating in this process. Thanks.
Okay, I also want to thank Alan Wolf, who's Chief of Staff for the City of Northampton, for being here and helping out. And let's start hearing people's comments. Yes, if people want to sort of line up at the mic, that would be great. Well done. I'll alternate between people who are in the room and people on Zoom. So give it a tap. All right, wonderful.
Thank you.
So again, 3 minutes, and please state your name.
Devin Bruce. I just want to say that the Northampton Open Media does a really nice service interviewing all the candidates that run for office in the city. I think that's how most people figure out who they're going to vote for. And you do that for the full set of them. It's a really nice service to the city. And also, Al, you were really receptive to an idea of putting a school. We used to have city school, and I kind of dropped the ball on that. I'll blame it on the pandemic, but I appreciate your receptivity to the idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next up on Zoom is Ben Spencer. You should be able to unmute.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Benjamin Spencer. I live in Northampton. I'm here to express my support for Northampton Open Media. The fact that I can be here from my house, just home from work, I wouldn't have been able to make the meeting, but I'm able to be here remotely, is very beneficial. And I have absolutely been taking full advantage of the government video portion of the Northampton Open Media. It's been very helpful for me to get to understand better how our city government works over the past year. Having that archive from all of the different public meetings has really helped me get a greater appreciation of a lot of the hard work that our citizens do on those boards and committees. So I would have to say that this is an essential service that's been provided by Northampton Open Media, and I really appreciate it. Also just want to point out how wonderful it is that they work in collaboration with Northampton High School for their media sources, equipment and everything. And also when I was preparing to come to this meeting, I just was doing a look at some of the other courses that are offered by Northampton Open Media, and they look excellent, and I hope to take some in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Please, welcome.
Hello, my name is Alex Russo. I am the president of the Northampton Open Media Board of Directors, so forgive me, I'm very biased. I'm sure you're going to hear a lot of great things about NOM this evening, and I know we have to keep it brief, so I'm going to just focus on one point that I want to hit, which is to encourage the city to push in the negotiations to have a flat funding rate for Northampton Open Media rather than having it tied to the number of cable subscribers in the area. For those who don't know, Northampton Open Media is funded by Comcast through a percentage of cable subscribers. And as you may also have noticed, over the last decade plus, we've been seeing a lot of cord cutting. Now, Comcast is still very prevalent in the community, offering internet access, and Northampton Open Media is just as present in the community as they have always been, partially because of the great foresight of people like Al in having them have a very strong web presence from day one. So people watch the content just as much online, maybe more so than on the cable channel. So yeah, I just don't want to see their funding go down because of the diminishing cable watchers. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Yes, next on Zoom is Councilor Alex Jarrett.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex Jarrett. I'm the City Council President and Ward 5 Councilor. I live in Florence. I'm speaking in support also of Northampton Open Media. They have done an amazing job of broadcasting, archiving our City Council meetings, and that supports transparency and accessibility for everyone. Some of our meetings are very long, and their staff stays up with us and makes sure that we're able to be heard and seen live, no matter the hour. And they also archive dozens of other boards and commissions, allowing anyone to refer back to any public meeting. And I use that extensively when I'm working with constituents. I'll say, here, queued up to here is a meeting here's the section of the meeting that you need to see. So very, very helpful. Also, their coverage of community events and the classes and equipment they offer to the community makes Northampton more accessible and equitable. So please make sure the new contract funds the full 5% operational funding plus capital funding. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Stefan Ward-Wheaton. I'm the program director for WRSI 93.9 The River. I'm also serving on the board for Valley Free Radio, our WXOJ, our community radio station, which is a partner for Northampton Open Media. I've had the opportunity to spend some time in community media in various roles over the last few years, and professionally as well as personally, and also serving just in a more general media capacity as my own career. And I can say that I think Northampton Open Media is a model not just for local public access media organizations, but nationally. And that is reflected by the coverage that we have gotten, this community has gotten through the efforts of Northampton High School, through the transcript, which is a service made possible by Northampton Open Media, through the kind of the really excellent coverage, as other people have said, of committee and government meetings that provide accessibility to people who can't make it in person, and to the plethora of services provided, digital access services, training services for filmmakers, for content creators, a media forward perspective that takes in not only traditional access, such as television and the internet even, but also Twitch, YouTube, media channels that are going to be and are now vital to our youth, to various endeavors that we will want to take advantage of. And for that reason, in addition to everything that's already been said and probably will continue to be said throughout this meeting, I really feel that it is absolutely vital that we, this community, invests in Northampton Open Media for the future. And that is done through the full operational funding of 5% through this contract negotiation, which I fully encourage and support. And also, in a more general sense, I want to encourage, as the media landscape changes and as subscriptions to our cable services change, that we invest in additional revenue streams to make sure that this service remains vital and growing. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, next on Zoom is RFCB. Please state your name.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ryan Cheevers Brown. I grew up in Leeds, Massachusetts, and I went to the high school back when Northampton Open Media was still in the basement of the high school. Northampton Open Media was an incredibly useful and just incredible organization to have available at the high school for access to their equipment, classes, tools, editing suite, studio, just all of the resources they had available were available to us high school students. They're not normally available to high school students interested in film and photography. I myself am a sports photographer. Working with Northampton Open Media really allowed me to foster that skill and that hobby to the point where I've now done it all through college, and I've been doing it for about 8 years now. Additionally, Northampton Open Media helped the Northampton High School band go to Carnegie Hall back in 2018, I believe it was, by running a telethon. That's something we could not have done without their help, and their support was absolutely vital to helping us go there. As such, I am here to give the city as much oomph as I possibly can towards full operational funding, extra capital funding, flat funding figures, and also putting the channels in HD. I do still watch a significant amount of the government meetings and such, and other Northampton Open Media content. And it would be great if the the cable channels were in HD. I personally would really appreciate that. With all that, thank you, and fund Northampton Open Media.
Thank you so much. Yes, please.
Hi, my name is Bella Levavi, and I am the Assistant Director of Greenfield Community Television, and I'm here to testify saying that Northampton Open Media is not only an incredible resource to the Northampton community, but leaders in the region for public access. They promote collaboration and assist with anything all these other stations need. And they, whatever Northampton does, we follow suit across the region. So providing or funding everything at the full levels, providing stable capital funding, and converting channels to HD, which is really, really important for public access across the region. Doing this in Northampton would be a huge support for the rest of the region as well, and make Northampton leaders in everything that's going on in public access.
Thanks so much for sharing. Okay, Indy Francis.
Hello, my name is Indy Francis. I live in West Hampton, and I'm calling in from the Northampton Community Music Center where I work. I'm an artist. I use video as one of my mediums, and I work here at the Music Center to document and archive the events that go on here, and I do that with the help of Northampton Open Media and their material resources. I also grew up in the area and went to the high school at the same time as Brian, who spoke earlier, and can speak to just the importance of having access to these really high-tech, high quality educational and technological resources in the hands of young artists and documentarians. So I want to support the full 5% operational funding for Northampton Open Media, full capital funding of the Northampton Open Media capital list, and ensuring that that capital funding is a flat figure and not tied to subscriber numbers. I'd also like to request that all non-TV channels be converted to HD, that the programming be listed in the electronic and online programming guides, and that additional funding be allocated if at all possible. Yes, thank you.
Thanks so much. Yes.
We passed around a sign-up sheet. If you all want to sit down, we'll use that so you don't have to stand if you prefer. All right.
Good, Kelly.
Hello, my name is Kelly Silliman. I am the co-director of the Northampton Center for the Arts at 33 Holly and a resident of Northampton. For those who don't know, 33 Holly is a project of the Northampton Community Arts Trust, and programming in the building happens because of 3 resident organizations, the Center for the Arts, APE Ltd, and Northampton Open Media. I have been working alongside the staff at NOM, I could say NOM, not NOM, for more than 7 years now, since 33 Holly opened in 2017. And there's really no way to overstate the importance of what they offer the community, from equipment rentals and training to classes, projects and programs, and grants to independent filmmakers. Everything NOM offers is available for free to everyone in our community, and they're an invaluable resource. NOM has specifically supported the center over the years in numerous ways. They film and show our Youth Performance Festival, thank you, Alexis, which was an especially vital role during the pandemic. They loan us equipment and teach us how to use it, for instance, for our Stomping Grounds Dance Festival in the summer. They have gone above and beyond in being available for tech questions over the year, like really above and beyond. And they participate in building-wide events such as our Arts Night Out presence or supporting the Doozy Doo Parade. Their students at Northampton High School are impressively well trained, and they've interviewed us and created news spots that we've been able to use for ongoing publicity. I really can't even begin to tell you the number of times we refer artists to them for various kinds of support. As an organization, they are here for the entire community, from fully funded filmmakers to houseless independent documentarians with no budget whatsoever. And they are able to do all of this because of funding from Comcast. As someone who both lives and works in Northampton, I am asking the city and Comcast to agree to full 5% operational funding for NOME and full capital funding of the NOME capital list. I'm asking you to ensure that capital funding is a flat figure, not tied to subscriber numbers. In addition, it's long past time for all NOME TV channels to be converted to HD, and it's important that NOME programming is listed in detail in the electronic and online program guide. And finally, Comcast. Please come through with additional funding. While I understand that Northampton can't ask for additional compensation, the fact remains that Comcast makes significant revenue and benefits enormously in ways that are not reflected in this contract. I think Comcast should voluntarily find ways of providing additional funding to Northampton Open Media and recognizing it as an important public good. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on Zoom is Bill Dwight.
Hi, I'm sorry. Can you see me? Yeah, I'm Bill Dwight. I'm a guy in a truck in a parking lot right now. With I just want to. Oh no, Alan. Hang on. This is. It's like equipment failure. Am I there? Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. Al's right. They're not part of the city. They're actually in fact, they are a critical asset of the city, however. They're essentially what I would qualify as our station of record. They're what we need and what we rely on for all the communications of government and all the community discussions and conversations that we have. And I would point out that since the pandemic graphically illustrated the acute critical nature of their services, we not only took advantage of it, we relied on it. It was essential. We now find ourselves in a 10 years different from the last contract that we had, where circumstances were much different when we were negotiating during Ascertainment. Although, however, some of the requests that Al Williams is asking for carryovers from the previous years and previous contract negotiations. These are 10-year contracts, 10 years. Just think about what happened 10 years ago. I wouldn't be talking to you from a truck 10 years ago in a meeting. We didn't have a pandemic 10 years ago. We don't have cataclysmic climate change. Just think 10 years into the future, if we don't subsidize adequately and appropriately this service that is now as critical as water, electricity, internet, and everything else that we tend to rely on, if we don't do it, there are consequences that are actually scary to think about. Our expansion of community participation in all government and conversation has been enhanced considerably, and to the point where we take it for granted. And that is all due to NOM, and I would ask that you continue to negotiate to maintain this robust service and to fund not only the services that they're requesting, but the staff that has been devoted to this community as much as anyone, and have provided us with the service, as I said, that we critically need. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next up is Natalie Ulrich, and then looks like just to give you a little lineup, Natalie Graves after, and then maybe Pam.
Hi, my name is Natalie Ulrich. I'm the Director of Development at Safe Passage, and I'm here to express my strong support for Northampton Open Media and to urge the city and Comcast to maintain and enhance their vital funding for this essential organization. Northampton Open Media services have been paramount to Safe Passage, Northampton's only domestic violence agency. During our largest event, the Hot Chocolate Run, we have people across the country tuning in to the live stream to support survivors of domestic violence. something we would never have been able to do without the support of Northampton Open Media. They graciously offer their time, equipment, and creativity at no cost to Safe Passage. Northampton Open Media support expands the reach and impact of our work, as well as elevates the voices of survivors, helping us connect with more people and raise awareness about domestic violence in our community. Northampton Open Media provides invaluable services to local nonprofits. By offering affordable or complimentary media production, broadcasting, and live streaming support, Northampton Open Media allows organizations to share their missions and events with a wider audience. Nonprofits rely on NOM to amplify their voices, whether by promoting fundraising campaigns, providing live coverage of events, or producing educational content that raises awareness about issues that affect us all. This partnership fosters a stronger, more interconnected community where nonprofits can thrive and better serve their constituents. By supporting NOM, we are investing in the heart of our community by shining a light on the essential work of our local nonprofits and deepening their impact. For these reasons, I encourage the following considerations as part of the negotiations between the city and Comcast: maintaining the full 5% operational funding, full capital funding for the NOM capital list, flat capital funding not tied to subscriber numbers, HD conversion for all NOM TV channels, detailed program listings in electronic and online program guides, and additional funding from Comcast to address revenue challenges. Without this support, nonprofits can't continue to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Aileen Davis on Zoom. You're unmuted, Aileen.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
Hello, my name is Aileen Davis. I live on Clement Street in Florence, and I just wanted to speak briefly to the value of the Northampton Open Media for the enhanced community involvement. They add to the connection, spreading information, and increased opportunities to learn and to share from one another. I would also ask, note that it would be so helpful to have non-programming listed in electronic and online program guide. And speaking as a member of the Northampton School Committee, I've seen firsthand and have been so impressed by the professionalism and hard work of those that work for Northampton Open Media. They're helpful and kind, and I really appreciate them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Natalie?
Hey, I'm Natalie Graves. I live in East Hampton, and my opinions are very obvious. In the last year, I have produced 3 performance events in the Valley, theater, music, and dance. And these were all made possible because of the equipment rentals from Northampton Open Media. The only reason that any of these events made sense for our meager arts budget is because of access to this equipment. I am also one of the notoriously online youth cutting the cord, and now my entire family is banging down my door asking me how to do it themselves. This is a long-term contract, and we need to be realistic about the dwindling subscriber numbers. It's not going to be sustainable long-term for funding. It needs to be flat rate to be reasonable and reliable for nonprofit organizations. I encourage you to fully fund the 5% and the capital lists. Please continue to digitize. Those are highly valuable materials, and we need the HD quality for everyone who is still viewing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next is Jack Brown on Zoom. Hey, Jack.
Hi, I'm Jack Brown. I handle communications for the Greater Northampton Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Hampshire County Regional Tourism Council. We are tasked with bringing folks to the area and also supporting local businesses and arts initiatives. I cannot say enough good things about both the organization that we're talking about, Northampton Open Media, and also the people that make it what it is. They have supported us recording our annual meetings and other events for many years. As you know, they support the local government, but also I feel like something that often goes unnoticed is the archiving that these folks are doing for our community. So much of what makes Northampton what it is are our local arts programs, our events, crowdsourced cinema, these things that we take for granted that are really special in a town of this size. And a big part of what makes that happen is Northampton Open Media. They're providing equipment, teaching opportunities, and just a chance for people to lift themselves up through the arts and through performance initiatives like this. So I am here to advocate for as much funding as possible over and beyond the 5% for program listings in the guide and for a flat funding rate. I think it would be great to not be reliant on those changing subscription numbers. As we all know, things have been shifting so much in the media world over the last few years. So let's fund them as best we can and help Northampton do what it does best. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Pam, and then coming up in the room after Pam is David Herrera and Stanley Moulton.
Hi, my name's Pamela Hunter. I live in Florence, and I was privileged to be part of NCTV from the very beginning. I was on the board when we created it, and now it's NOM. I like to use all the initials. I think that particularly under Al's leadership, this station has become more than a TV station. It has surpassed anything we could have thought of happening when this whole thing started in the basement of Northampton High School. I will not repeat everything that people have said. I agree with everything that has been said so far. I would point out, however, I'll emphasize capital funding. If you can't have the equipment, you can't do the job. And so that capital funding makes a huge difference. I have a computer that doesn't work too well, but I can go down to Best Buy or wherever and buy it. They need the equipment, and it needs to be updated regularly or we won't get this. It is an incredible city resource. And I think that as people are more involved in media as opposed to print, and we know that we're losing print, this is going to become even more critical to our life as a city, as an arts community, as a government educated metropolis, I guess, maybe not. But anyway, so thank you very much. I think that this is a critical resource for the city, and it should be funded above anything that we can even imagine. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Councilor Rachel Maori on Zoom.
Good evening. I'm Rachel Maori. I'm the Vice President of the City Council in Northampton. I've been on council now, this is my third term, and like many integral things in our lives that we take for granted, we've been taking NOM for granted. So I think it's really been good to reflect and take this moment to think about what Northampton Open Media brings to our community. We've heard NOM has had a positive impact in a myriad of ways that people have spoken about. I can speak about our city government, city council, our boards and committees, no less than depend on the Northampton Open Media to inform, educate, and engage our community members, and really importantly, make city government accessible. And it makes engagement possible in our community. And as Bill, who I served with, mentioned, during the pandemic, our government would not have functioned properly without this connecting point, this critical source of information that Northampton Open Media was putting out. And now we see that through, when we think about future crises, with a fully and robustly funded Northampton Open Media, we will at least be prepared in this way. What a blessing. And so what I see is that the need in our community is it's growing, it's expanding, it's becoming more complex. And we're going to need that full 5% operational funding for Northampton Open Media. And we're going to need it full capital funding, as others spoke to. We need it to be a flat rate, a predictable rate, because this is such an important thing in our community. The bottom line is that we all benefit, including Comcast, by this type of nuts and bolts, regular engagement that Northampton Open Media makes possible. It makes good business sense. It's good community building. It's good governance. It's a crucial stabilizer, and no less helps protect our democracy. Northampton Open Media is the glue that holds so much together. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next, it's actually, Councilor Moulton, I'm sorry, it's David. Okay, he's going to let you go first. You're both very gracious.
Stan Moulton. Thank you, David, for letting me go before you. I live at 34 Perkins Avenue. I've been a Northampton resident for 48 years. I'm a retired journalist who spent more than 4 decades working at the Daily Hampshire Gazette. I'm a former member of the Board of Directors of Northampton Open Media, serving as the mayoral appointee in 2020-2021, and I'm currently a city councilor. I say all that because I have, from all those perspectives, observed the value that Northampton Open Media, formerly known as NCTV, has brought to Northampton since its very beginning, more than 4 decades ago, when it started as Continental Cablevision was granted the very first license to provide cable service in Northampton. We've heard about that basement studio at Northampton High School. From the beginning, it was committed to training students and providing a real service to the high school. And of course, all of that continues today with tremendous growth. As my colleagues on the City Council have mentioned, it's an invaluable service, not just to us as elected officials, but of course to the entire community, to have all of these meetings broadcast and archived. Some 300 meetings are now archived annually on the NOM government YouTube channel. And I also want to mention that the non-government YouTube channel that NOM operates has some 6,000 subscribers. And since the last contract took effect 8 years ago, has averaged 250,000 views a year. That translates into 29,000 hours annually of viewing content that is produced by NOM staff and or community members. So I am, too, adding my voice to those who are calling for the continued, at least the continued full 5% operational funding for NOM in the next license renewal, full funding for its capital request to buy the equipment that's used by staff and community members for government coverage, Northampton Public Schools projects, member productions, and other community events. And to ensure that that capital funding is fixed and not tied to cable television subscriber numbers. And also, I would like to see the conversion of the 3 local channels used by NOM for broadcasting to HD format, which is now 26 years old and is really the industry standard. Thanks.
Thanks so much. Next on Zoom is Joe.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you see and hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Oh, cool. My name is Joe Migan. I live at 58 Holly Street, and I'm a media artist, and I've been a NOM member for, I think, the entire 6 years I've been living here, and it's been an invaluable resource for artists, but also students. I think in this increasing media-dense world that we're living in, providing people public access to not only document and learn how to create so they can document things around them, explore media creation, and just expand the creative possibilities of multimedia and video and broadcasting. And I just believe that there should be way more than the full 5% operational funding for Northampton Open Media, full capital funding of the non-capital list, and ensure capital funding is a flat figure not tied to subscriber numbers, and all channels should be in HD. It's just been, I've like directly been supported by my involvement with Northampton Open Media, just from getting instructions to like learn things that I was having trouble with, making media art, and just like going over different proposal ideas, or having access to documented council meetings or news broadcasts or different things that they have archived on. It's just like such a good resource. And I feel like as we have more media in our lives, having people be able to make use of it. And also the newest thing that they've been doing where they're providing access to learning more about computers to people is such a valuable thing, because people can't even apply for jobs without being able to use a computer now. So I think it's really important, media literacy. But yeah, I echo so much of the things people have been saying about the support for Northampton Open Media. And yeah, I hope that it continues to grow. Thank you so much. I yield the rest of my time.
Thanks. David, thank you.
Hello, I'm David Herrera. I'm from Shelburne Falls. I'm the senior producer at Falls Cable, and I'm proud to say that I am a product of Northampton Open Media. I started a small videography thing for a local nonprofit called CFCE, which works with children and their families ages 3 and under. When the pandemic hit, they needed something to do to keep their grant funding coming in, and none of them knew how to do anything online. I had a little bit of training in high school and a little bit of training in college a decade ago on how to start making film stuff. So I started making kids' puppet shows. Fast forward to the important part. I got involved with the crowdsourced cinema through a puppetry group, the Western Massachusetts Puppetry Guild, and we did a scene in their production of Jurassic Park, which is one of the greatest memories of my life. And after we completed that, I started looking into what Northampton Open Media did and offered, and I saw the classes, and I said, wow, I think it'd be a really great idea to bump up my skills. So I started taking classes at Northampton Open Media, and it reminded me of a lot that I had forgotten, and it opened up my eyes to what was available with new and decent equipment and better editing software and things like that. And I finished the courses, and now I'm working for my local Falls Cable, which is my local cable station. And like to mirror what the, I think, supervisor from Greenfield Televisions was saying, they are a model, not just for Western Mass, but for the entire country. What they do, everyone else points to and goes, oh, maybe we should try that. And I'm sure a lot of that's down to Al and his leadership. But I'm here to support that and show that I would not have had that job. My videography company would not be working with Falls Cable, going all over New England now, filming productions to bring back for my viewers at my station if it wasn't for the training and the encouragement that I got from Northampton Open Media. So, and Falls Cable is now, in a way, a bit of a child of Northampton Open Media as well, because again, we point to you guys and we look, what can we do that they're doing already? How can we better ourselves to be like them and aspire to be like them? So thank you. Thank you very much. And pretty please give them anything they want.
Thank you. Next is Wendy Foxman. Can you unmute, Wendy?
can't. Oh, I could now. I couldn't before. Thank you for having this hearing. I'm Wendy Foxman, Rachel Maori's Ward 7. Since other people are talking about their background, I was a member of the Greenfield Community Television Advisory Committee back in many years ago and co-founded Greenfield Community Television. So it's exciting to hear that you're here tonight if you're still here. I completely support and agree with everything that's been said about Northampton Open Media. It is an essential service. And I don't want to say much more because everybody had so much to say and in great detail, because I have other things I wanted to bring up. I have had what's called the triple package, what was called the triple package for many years here now that I've lived in Northampton. I don't know what it's called now. I have to have a phone and I have, television, all of that. I called recently to ask about dropping television. And frankly, it took me forever to talk to somebody and to get to where I could even begin that conversation. When we had this contract over the 10 years, Comcast has closed most of its local offices where you can bring or pick up equipment. I don't know you have to decide, I'm going to put this day aside for customer service issues with Comcast. It is the single worst megalithical kind of, or even, it's just impossible to really do things. So I gave up. They came back with a very slight, I asked what it would cost to remove television from what was called triple package, and it was negligible. And everyone says, well, just tell them you're going to change services and they'll give you a better deal. Well, I've not done that. I haven't had the time. So, and then I get my next bill is $20 more. So not happy with customer service. I think it's a huge part that people don't talk about enough. They do, not in public meetings, but everybody grouses about it. So I hope that something is paid attention to about that. And for people who, like myself and Bill, who have read the license, it feels like it's a different century. I mean, we're so far along now technologically and in so many other ways. I do want to say something very positive also about a Comcast employee, Edlin Black, who has been helpful to me various times over the years after successive contracted technicians have failed. So he's a Comcast employee and I haven't seen him in years, but he's been very helpful to me and I think it's something nice to say about the company as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next in the room is Jane Harrison Millman, followed by Michael Stein in the room.
Hi, my name is Jane Harrison Millman. I'm a junior at Northampton High School, and I'm a member of the Transcript, which is Northampton High School's student-run news and media organization. Over the past 3 years, through my work on the Transcript's weekly segments, I've had the opportunity to interview members of local organizations, state legislators, and countless members of the Northampton city government, many of whom are here today, about topics that are important to me and other high school students, ranging from our reporting on the school budget process last spring to traveling to New York City to cover Trump's Madison Square Garden rally. During my freshman and sophomore years, I produced documentaries looking into how the issues of domestic violence and the gender pay gap can be addressed through legislation, receiving awards in the National C-SPAN Student Camp competition. Participating in the Transcript has not only helped me to learn technical skills of media production, but it has also changed the way that I view myself, interact with the world around me, teaching me how to ask questions, engage with leaders, and work with my peers. None of this would have been possible without the support of Northampton Open Media. Northampton Open Media provides us with camera equipment, computers, editing software, and the basement studio space that is located in our school building. The work of the Transcript is able to do is a direct result of this amazing collaboration between us, Northampton Open Media, Comcast, and the City of Northampton. I've had the chance to meet with Mayor Shara, members of Northampton Open Media, and representatives of Comcast several times over the past year, and it's been amazing to see how the community values the transcript and their ongoing support of us and our work. And so by funding Northampton Open Media, you're continuing to support this partnership and to sustain the transcript for years to come. So thank you.
Thank you. Next on Zoom is Jara.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jara Balakan, and I'm speaking tonight in support of Northampton Open Media and to request the organization receives its full operational funding. I wanted to talk about the partnership between NOM and Northampton High School and the influence and the huge difference it has made for my daughter. She's a sophomore, and through the use of equipment supplied by NOM, spark has been ignited. Because of Northampton Open Media's support, high school students have access to training, cameras, computers, and editing software that would typically be out of reach for financial reasons. When high school students have exposure and access like this, it is eye-opening and life-changing. I am so grateful to Northampton Open Media and to Jeremy Whalen, the communication and media productions teacher at NHS. And I want to say my daughter normally would be the one giving this presentation tonight, but she's actually up at Berkshire East documenting the Northampton High School ski team using equipment she has access to through the high school and NOM. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to echo a lot of what my colleagues in the City Council and School Committee have said. One of the great silver linings for me on the school committee is being the appointed NOM board member. It's a wonderful group of people, and it's allowed me to learn even more about the organization, which is truly incredible. And that has a lot to do with Al's leadership, but also tremendous community engagement. And I'd urge the city to negotiate as hard as they can to secure the laundry list you've heard from everybody. Flat funding not based on a percentage of subscribers, full capital list, HD conversion for the cable stations, etc. I also just want to say what an incredible service that NOM provides for the community by being really our record of public meetings and of government. It is exceptional the level of production and commitment you all bring to those meetings and how quickly you turn them around and how well you manage those. Anyone can find this information really easily, and a lot has to go on for that to happen, and you do it all. And I'm really grateful for it. The other thing I really want to highlight is the impact on students, the work of the transcript, the encouragement that Jeremy has given to so many students, their engagement with technology they wouldn't have access to otherwise, including some of the best editing software and cameras around, is really incredible, and it's a leveling device of social equity for a lot of people who get interested in things that they wouldn't otherwise have access to. So I'm really grateful for NOM. I'm really grateful to see so much adoration and love for the organization. It's well deserved, and look forward to many more wonderful years of NOM providing this type of resource to the community.
Thanks. Next is Councillor Garrick Perry on Zoom.
Hello, everyone here. Sorry, you're catching me in the kitchen while I'm cooking. If you don't know me, I'm Garrick Perry, current councilor at large here in Northampton, but also I'm a musician and event organizer for decades here in Northampton. Many of my colleagues have used the equipment and training that Northampton Open Media offers. We were able to complete and document a variety of community events as well as personal projects, so I'm very thankful for that. And as a city employee, it's been phenomenal being able to go back and look at all of the archived content. In fact, before I decided to run, Northampton Open Media was how I was able to peer into or behind the curtain of government Even during those epically long meetings in 2020, watching those, I still decided to run. And, think that everyone else has said how important Northampton Open Media is to the community, but in a city that's based in culture, in arts, we all owe a great debt to Northampton Open Media. And also as one of the few counselors who works a job during the night, I don't think I would be able to serve as a city councilor without the services that Northampton Open Media provides. So I do want to thank all of the workers for their kindness and dedication at Northampton Open Media. And then I also want to say that I hope that Comcast realizes the impact that you all have on our community. A lot of folks do view these meetings through the internet, but a lot of people watch on cable. I've had people say, hey, I saw you on TV the other day, which I'm always baffled by. And while I also have issues with some of the customer service, I do want to thank Comcast for connecting folks. You provide a service that is essential, not only now, but the future of not only our city, but I think, the world is in content creation and being connected through this. So I too support funding Northampton Open Media with at least the 5%, and anything else you can give to them would be greatly appreciated. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next in the room is Jacqueline, followed by Oliver.
Hi, I'm Jackie Bernstein. I moved to Northampton less than 2 years ago, and one of the first things I did when I moved here is take the production courses at Northampton Open Media. And I learned a lot, but it was really a way for me to feel at home in my community. Northampton Open Media is a really invaluable space, both in terms of equipment and education, but also in terms of community support, and as a way to meet people and share our stories and share our own point of view. So I really encourage you to fully fund that 5% figure, as well as anything and everything that they're asking for. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on Zoom is Ellie.
Yeah, hi there. My name is Ellie here in Andani. I'm a senior at Northampton High School, an independent filmmaker, the former senior editor of Northampton High's video magazine, and a member of Northampton Open Media's board of directors. But tonight, I'm speaking to you as a lifelong member of the Northampton community, and I'm asking you for you to continue to support This includes a continuation of the current 5% operational funding for NOM, full funding of the NOM capital list that is not tied to subscriber numbers, and the full continued support of Northampton Open Media and all their activities, including converting NOM's channels to HD, listing their programming on electronic and online program guides, and continuing to fund them to the fullest degree. Over the past 3 years, I've had the pleasure of working closely with NOM to expand my creative horizons. It is thanks to every employee there, past and present, that I've been able to build a network of like-minded creatives to work on countless productions. They make opportunities typically unheard of in a city like Northampton not only accessible, but free. But NOM is more than that. They're more than just empowering entire classes of students like myself to pursue real-world experiences in photo, video, journalism, and entertainment. More than just providing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of resources and knowledge for free to countless people with a story to tell. More than just
We're losing your audio. Can you say again?
I'm sorry, more than just. Can you hear me?
No, I'm sorry.
See, that's what they do. They try to talk.
Can you hear me?
You'll come back on? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I'll call back on you in a bit. Okay.
I don't want to. Yeah.
Oh, they're on the bus. Oh. How about Oliver in the room? Oliver, you still here? Hi, Oliver.
Hi, everyone. I'm Oliver. I'm a student at Northampton High School. I'm a freshman, and I just want to talk about how Northampton Open Media has affected me and my fellow students. So, I mean, I've always really liked taking pictures, but I never really had access to like real cameras and real editing software. So I came to NHS and I took Mr. Whalen's photography class, and through him and the funds that Northampton Open Media provided, I was able to, well, I can't talk, I'm sorry. I was able to, I was able to further my passion for photography and aerial photography. And I hope that Northampton Open Media can continue funding our education in the future.
Thanks so much. Great job. Okay, Kai on Zoom.
Hello, I'm Kai Petrie. I'm a student at Northampton High School and a Northampton resident. Northampton Open Media has given me just an unbelievable opportunity as a student. The equipment that is provided from them in the communications and media production class is an opportunity I don't think I would have at many other schools, and I'm incredibly grateful for. I didn't really have a plan after high school on what I wanted to do, and it wasn't until I joined the class that I was able to, that I saw that this was what I wanted to do, and media production is something I want to pursue, and it's not something I had planned on doing before. Over the summers, I was able to rent out equipment from NOM when the equipment at the school wasn't available to me, and I was able to make short films with my friends, and I'm usually in charge of post-production with all of that, and I have a Adobe Creative Cloud license from that, and it's an incredibly expensive subscription, and I'm very happy that, or unaffordable subscription, at least to me, that my school has been able to provide that to me, and they would not be able to do that if it was not for Northampton Open Media, and I encourage as much funding as we can give to NOM. They are a wonderful resource, and I believe everybody should have access to resources like that. And yeah, Northampton Open Media has changed my life, and I'm incredibly thankful to every member of Northampton Open Media.
Thank you. Okay, Molly Maxter. Hi.
Hello, my name is Molly Maxner, and I'm one of the co-directors of APE in Northampton. And I have the pleasure of working closely with Al and the other wonderful people at NOM through the work of the Northampton Community Arts Trust and 33 Holly. NOM are incredible partners in building and sustaining a robust art scene in Northampton, which we know positively impacts economics and quality of life in our city. NOM is a partner in the thriving of 33 Holly, which serves hundreds of artists and thousands of audience members every year. I also want to speak as a parent. I was born and raised in Northampton, and then moved away for many years and moved back 3 years ago. And in that moving back, I've thought a lot about what it is to choose a place to raise children. NOM is absolutely hands down part of what makes this city a very special and unique place to raise a family. When I told my 14-year-old daughter about this hearing, she said, "Oh my God, I gotta go, I have to speak for NOM." Well, she can't be here tonight, unfortunately, but she sends this message. She says, "NOM is such an amazing resource. I love knowing they are there, offering access to equipment that I would never ever get to use at this time in my life. And they are so knowledgeable and generous with that knowledge. They're super important to me." As a parent, I want to uplift that part of what my daughter said. It's not just the equipment that NOM offers, but their extraordinary generosity of the people who work at NOM. They care, and they empower people of all ages with knowledge and skills. When I think of NOM, I think of integrity, access, profound and active dedication to our community. Northampton is what it is in part because of NOM and their foresight, their vision, and ongoing work for and with our community. Please ensure full 5% operational funding for NOM Please ensure full capital funding of NOM's capital list. Ensure that capital funding is a flat figure, not tied to subscriber numbers. Ensure that all NOM TV channels are converted to HD. And please ensure that there is additional funding to make sure that NOM can live fully in our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is it Ellie or Eli? Ellie is there, but they're gone again. Okay. In the room, Kathy Couch, followed by Tom Sturm.
Hi, my name is Kathy Couch. I'm the other co-director of APE, and I am also a founding and current board member of the Northampton Community Arts Trust, and building partner with Northampton Open Media, working closely with Al Williams there, along with the Center for the Arts. And I echo everything that everybody has already said about NOM, and I feel like just want to highlight the way that Northampton Open Media is really a beacon of access, and what that means, the breadth of what that means. Not only offering our community access to governmental proceedings and city council meetings and school board meetings, but also no matter what your point of view is, Northampton Open Media is there to support and empower you to find an outlet and train you how to speak clearly and creatively. And that kind of breadth of voices in our community feels so essential at this time. And they just do so much to empower people to be able to share their ideas. So I also just want to say that they serve that role within the ecology of 33 Holly and the building partners. Al is a real leader in the way that we run the building, and teaches us, all of us who run that building, how to think about things in ways that are humane and just and accessible. And they bring so many important community members into that space. So I really encourage you to do everything you can to fund Northampton Open Media 5% beyond, and meet all their capital requests, flat funding, and please convert the channels to HD. Offer all the content creators and the government workings the dignity of being seen at the highest technology possible. Offer everybody that respect. It'd be really great. Thank you, and thank you, Northampton Open Media.
Thanks. Tom, are you still here? Tom?
Hi, I'm Tom Sturm, local personality. I've worked in a lot of local media. I'm a musician. I've known Al for probably going on 30 years. Back when I was working at the Valley Advocate, adjacent to Stan and Jack Brown and some other folks around here probably. I did a cover story on Northampton Open, I think it was NCTV back then. Was still in the basement of the high school, and I did that because I thought it was a really important thing, and I could see what he was doing was really going to make it break out and be something a lot more than it had been. And it really has. He's done an unbelievable job. I think it's come so far, and not even that long, maybe 10 or 12 years or however long ago that was. I've personally interfaced with it on so many different levels. I've taken video editing classes there. As a musician, I've done the performance in Look Park for probably 15 years, which they're always there documenting and recording. Really crucial, and things that things you don't want to lose culturally. So many talented people that come through and pour dozens and dozens of hours of work into things that would not be documented any other way except for maybe some snippets on people's phones at this point. I also wanted to say, echo a couple things that your city councilors and former city councilors mentioned in that. One of the things I did as one of my musical iterations is as a kid's pirate. I have a kid's pirate act called Snackbeard that I would play every New Year for the first night. For several years in a row I played. And one year it was the pandemic and I showed up and I had to basically play to Northampton Open Media and the cameras. It was a little heartbreaking, but thank God it was there because like I can't even imagine like the number of performances that they were able to live stream during the pandemic and you know, bring a little bit of connection to people in a time where there was none. So I think that's about. Oh, and the other thing, I also participated in the crowdsourced cinema with my whole family. We made did work on the Star Wars recreation, which was shown at the Academy of Music. And it's just a great time when people put a ton of work into that and they show up and there's a whole huge public screening and, you know, all of these things are just the multiple facets of importance that Northampton Open Media has for the city of Northampton. So yes, please give it its full 5% funding, flat funding, and if you can make room for ESPN4 in HD, please give it to Northampton Open Media as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I think it says Travis. Travis.
Hello, my name is Travis Emerson. I am a student at Northampton High School, a senior this year, and I will be graduating the high school participating in a career path that I never would have even knew was open to me. In my freshman year of high school in my English class, I decided to work on the yearbook with Jeremy Whalen. While inside of that classroom, I saw all the transcript students working hard and fast on their long weekly projects. I was inspired by this, and the following year, in my sophomore year, I joined the class. I was going through a very challenging period of my life, but all the students were there to support me. I have continued taking the transcript for 4 semesters now. I am now applying to colleges strictly in the career-oriented space, going into communication and media production. I am very proud to say that I now have my own show on the transcript where I go downtown into the Northampton community to interview random strangers on the street. I've built up a community with people in downtown Northampton where I'm able to get recognized by students and also other people I've interviewed in the past. I've been lucky enough to have this opportunity thanks to Northampton Open Media, who has helped to fund the transcript. Without the technology that Northampton Open Media has provided to the transcript, I wouldn't be who I am today. I have learned so much from Northampton Open Media as well as the transcript and students and Jeremy Whalen, and I am so proud that I have gotten to work with such powerful people and such a strong organization. Please fund Northampton Open Media. It is very dire and important to the next generations to come.
Thank you. Shira Sweets.
Hi, my name is Shira Sweet, and I'm a junior at Northampton High School. Since my freshman year, I've been part of the Transcript, the high school's video journalism program. And throughout this experience, one thing has been made very clear to me. Not every student has access to the opportunities that the ones Northampton Open Media provides us. Supporting Northampton Open Media is much more than providing us with the tools to create. It is about leveling the playing field. It gives all of us the opportunity to explore, grow, and share our voices in ways we may not otherwise be able to. During my time at NHS, Northampton Open Media's funding and support has allowed me to win not 1 but 2 National C-SPAN Documentary Awards, an achievement that I and others would not have been able to reach without the resources and equipment that NOM provides. In the bigger picture, there is a critical need for students to be able to see and tell stories through journalism and media production. By supporting Northampton Open Media, you are helping students develop essential skills for our education and futures. I urge you to continue supporting its mission during the review process so NOM can continue thriving and enriching our community right now and for years to come. Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon. Cairo. Next.
Hello, my name is Cairo Harrell, and I am a junior at Northampton High School. I would like to start by saying that Northampton Open Media provides many community building events that are essential for a well-structured community in town. An example of this is the Crowdsource Cinema, which my family and friends and I participated in, and the Short Film Festival, both of which were organized by Northampton Open Media. My parents also produced a documentary with the help of Gnome, and it was shown at the Academy of Music in 2023. Not only has Gnome done many things for this town, but it has helped the media department in my school as well. Jeremy Whalen, a former board member, was able to grow the media department at NHS to what it is today. He currently teaches photography, a class I have taken and can say that it is an amazing class and a great learning opportunity, as well as the transcript, both of which would not exist or be nearly as well executed without the support from Gnome. All this to say, I urge you to provide full funding for Gnome and any additional funding so that the board, which has done so much for me, my school, and my family, can continue to support the many members of Northampton. Thank you.
Thanks, Kara. Melissa?
Hi. My name is Melissa McClung, and I'm a filmmaker, animator, and educator based in Hadley. I first walked into NOM's space 10 years ago, and I've never looked back. At that time, I just moved back to the area. Although I had some experience making short films, I still wasn't sure I had what it takes. Enter NOM and Al. The experience I had making a film for their 7-day film sprint gave me the needed confidence boost as a writer-director. Maybe this art thing could work. A few months later, NOM's production grant program gave me my first experience writing and receiving an artist grant. NOM provided me with equipment for films that went on to premiere at my first film festivals. 10 years later, I'm still at it. I've gotten funds for grants around the country, collaborated on films with celebrated directors, and continued premiering films at some of the world's oldest and most prestigious film festivals. All this to say, I owe my creative career path to NOM. NOM gave me and continues to give me crucial support as an artist in the form of funding, top-of-the-line equipment, community, and motivation. The organization has allowed me to create a path in film in Western Massachusetts outside of the country's main film hubs. The staff of NOM continues to be a wonderful support system as I navigate making a life in the arts. NOM is an invaluable community resource, as you've heard. As a former NOM board member, I know that they depend on the Comcast revenue. I urge you to maintain these funds for NOM. NOM is cutting edge in everything they do. They've been recognized as the leading public access station in the country. Their equipment is top-notch for pros and beginners alike. Their workshops are amazing free resources, as we've heard, to create a more media literate and creatively empowered community, essential in our media-saturated world. Not to mention, NOM provides a public service our townspeople to keep our townspeople informed. NOM even plays a part in our public education. Our award-winning high schoolers that you've heard today are making nationally recognized media pieces thanks to NOM's support. Giving NOM the full 5% funding and everything they've been asking for is a no-brainer and will continue to pay dividends to our creative and broader community. And I just want to add that being here tonight as a long-term member is like a reunion, and it's so much fun to hear how much it's touched everyone. So thank you. Thank you.
Next is Michael Tornow, maybe? Yeah.
Greetings. My name is Michael Tornow. I'm a Northampton resident, and I'm a senior at Northampton High School. For the last 2 years, I've been working on NHS's video news magazine, The Transcript, and I'm the current senior news editor. Every Friday, we put out an episode with a series of segments ranging from short narrative films to serious, in-depth news stories. This makes The Transcript an incredible class that appeals to a wide variety of NHS students. Through The Transcript, I have discovered my passion for media arts, and I have decided to pursue it in college and beyond. I have had incredible opportunities that are unique to the audiovisual department. I have been able to develop my leadership abilities and professionalism in a fast-paced environment. And I have won several accolades that have allowed me to get into a great college with incredible scholarships and opportunities along with it. I started at Emerson in the fall. Now, what does this have to do with Northampton Open Media? NOM has been imperative to the success of the transcript. They have given us continued support, which includes providing us with equipment, allowing us to use their spaces for filming, and giving us guidance when we need it. In a department that does not receive a lot of funds from the city, we rely on NOM to keep the transcript afloat. Without them, the transcript would cease to be what it is today and be a significantly worse program. Funding for Northampton Open Media is funding for Northampton Public Schools. It is funding for me, and it is funding for every other student who has ever or will ever pass through any single one of Jeremy Whalen's incredible classes at Northampton High. Thank you.
Thank you. Garrett Williams. Yes.
Hi.
Feel free to raise it.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to pick it up. I'm going to have to read from my phone so I stay on topic here. My name is Garrett Williams. I'm on the Northampton Arts Council as the clerk, and I live in Florence. I moved here in 2020 because my wife and I wanted to raise our kids in a place that valued equity and inclusion. So here we are. So far, it's been great. Thank you for the community. I want to speak sort of from an outsider's perspective because I come from public access in my hometown of Beverly. I started working with them when I was in high school in the early 2000s, more than 20 years ago. And as a teenager, I was given free training, free equipment, space, and computers with editing software, which was hugely valuable to my young creative mind. I actually learned how to edit on reel-to-reel tapes, which is not really a thing anymore, but I'm feeling my age in saying that. My experience led to a job at the station, which led to film school, and then a successful career in film and TV. I worked at BevCam, like I said, about 20 years ago, and we were having the same discussions. HD was already a thing back then, and when we were renegotiating our deal with Comcast, we kind of had those same talks. We were like, oh, this should be in HD. All of our cameras are already doing it. So I'm surprised we're still having that discussion. That should definitely be on the table for this upcoming negotiation. I remember when the director at the time, Rob McCausland, I don't know if you know him, he's a public access guy. He explained the impetus of public access to me by saying that the people own the airwaves. And if Comcast wants to provide TV here, they also need to provide access to that media for the community. Now, I think it's fair to say now that the people own the internet, and we should be provided access to that. So as the community, or as the media landscape changes, I think media literacy is really important. And I think it's important that Comcast steps up and continues to provide that because NOM is not just a TV station, it's a media station. And I think as a community, we need to continue to provide funding and ask for all of those things from Comcast because they're like a multinational conglomerate and they can afford it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thomas Campbell.
How's everybody? My name is Thomas Campbell. I am a board member for Northampton Open Media. I have worked with them for at least a decade now. I started making short films with them, and I've done worked with Melissa on some of her projects, worked on some other just community stuff, and I would like to imagine that this is mostly a formality. I can't really imagine the city being able to continue without Northampton Open Media. I can't really imagine the city being able to function on a civic level without access to the meetings that we have. If the city were to try and fund that themselves with the equipment and the staff and everything else, I think it would cost much more than they already give them. In addition to that, they provide free services to the schools, which is, again, another thing that I think that would cost a lot more if the city tried to provide it for themselves. I mean, we've heard what they do for families. We've heard what they do for the community. We've heard how they act as an archive. I basically would reiterate that, what I said earlier. So I can't imagine the town being able to function civically without Northampton Open Media.
Thank you. Dylan Gaffney. Oh, Dylan? No, right there.
So I'm Dylan Gaffney. I live at 23 Marshall Street in Northampton. I'm a lifelong resident of Northampton, work in the archives at Forbes Library, serve on the Northampton's Historical Commission, and served in 2019 on the city's Charter Review Committee. As a lifelong resident and someone who's actively engaged in civic life in the city, I would implore you to provide full operational and capital funding for Northampton Open Media for its vital role serving our community. The value of their work covering government meetings alone makes them an irreplaceable part of our city. With the rapid decline in local newspapers and local news coverage, this is something our city cannot do without if it wants informed constituents. We saw it most critically during the pandemic, as everyone else has said, when the city needed to pivot to continue to allow participation, but we see it regularly around elections, budget season, and all the month in and month out and day out work a city needs to engage in so that it can be accessible and accountable to the people. From Forbes Library's perspective, we simply could not provide many of our most important and popular services without the assistance of Northampton Open Media. They provide the staffing and the equipment for our free outdoor movies on the lawn, the expertise, guidance, and training that enable us to live stream our author talks, our meetings, our lectures, and events. They provide equipment and training for us to start recording oral history interviews over the last 10 years, preserving the history of the community. They've trained our staff in video and audio editing so that we can create short films to entertain and inform our patrons and promotional materials for fun.